Good morning, guys. I apologize. This is English 8, and I apologize. Yesterday, I inadvertently skipped a page. I skipped your homework and flipped over and just started with another unit, and I apologize for that. So we're going to back up to what we were supposed to do yesterday. My fault. This is page 216. It is what you did for homework a couple of days ago, and I want to go over it. I asked you to do exercise K and L. That was so that you could do them and you could make sure you had your thought before we corrected them. If you have not done them, pause the video, do the exercises, then turn it back on. It's very important that you try to do these on your own so that you can ask me questions so that we can prepare you for your chapter test, which is going to be this week, okay? Let's look at number 1. First, you're going to decide what kind of phrase you have. Now, you may have a participle. If you remember, participle phrases are going to end in ing, ed, d, t, en, and they're going to usually act like an adjective, okay? Sometimes some of these are going to be a gerund. Gerunds are going to end in ing, but they're going to function as a noun, meaning they're going to be my subject, they're going to be my direct object, they're going to be the object of a preposition, okay? Then you're going to have prepositional phrases. They're going to begin with a preposition, they're going to end with an object. That prepositional phrase is going to describe. It may describe and be an adverb. It may describe and be an adjective, but it has to answer the questions. If it's an adjective, it has to tell us which one, what kind, how much, how many, or whose. If it's an adverb, it has to tell us where, when, how often, to what extent, under what condition, or why. And then, of course, you have infinitives. Infinitives are easy to spot because they begin with the word to, and they will act like a noun, or they will act like a adverb, okay? And so sometimes they're nouns, sometimes they describe, okay? So sometimes they're going to be nouns and adjectives, okay? Adverbs and adjectives. Let's look at number 1. It says, working through the night. By the way, that is the phrase. Working through the night, the young painter finished the portrait. Okay? Working through the night. What is that doing? It's describing which painter. So it is an adjective. What kind of phrase is it? It is a participle. We know it's a participle because working ends in an ing. Okay, look at number 2. We have booked the photographer for Saturday afternoon to take family pictures at the beach. Okay, the phrase is for Saturday afternoon, and that is a prepositional phrase. What does for Saturday afternoon tell us? It tells us when the photographer is booked. So it's telling us when, so it is an adverb. Look at number 3. Hiking through the mountains is our family's idea of a fun vacation. Okay? Your clause is hiking through the mountains. What kind of clause is that? Okay? It's either going to be a gerund or a participle, right? Well, how's it acting in our sentence? It's functioning as the subject of the sentence. So it is a noun. Therefore, it must be a gerund. Number 4, the doctor instructed Mallory to drink more water. Okay, our phrase is Mallory to drink more water. Okay, that is a what? It is an infinitive. Okay, and how is my infinitive used? It's used as a noun. It's acting as what? It is the direct object. Doctor instructed to drink more water. Okay. Nikki studied through the evening for her math examination the next day. Through the evening is a prepositional phrase, and it tells us when she studied. So it is an adverb prepositional phrase. Leah took honor courses in high school to be ready for college. Our phrase is to be ready. To be ready is telling us why she took them, right? So what kind of phrase is it? It is an infinitive phrase. If it's telling us why, then it is an adverb. Why did she take these classes? Number 7, Our large family enjoys fishing in the bay and cooking out on the beach. Okay, what is fishing in the bay? Fishing in the bay is used, we're gonna have to look at how it's used. Okay, it's being used as the direct object. Family is the subject, enjoys is the verb. Family enjoys what? Fishing in the bay. That's my direct object. So this is it is a gerund used as a noun. I hope you did well on those. Let's look at exercise L. This time we're going to identify it. Is it a noun? The clause. Is the noun a noun clause? Is it an adjective clause? Or is it an adverb clause? Okay, let's look at number 1. Rachel is the one who counts the votes. Who counts the votes is the clause. How is it used? It is an adjective. It's, okay, so let's look at this because it's telling us which one, okay? Is the verb, Rachel is the subject. Rachel equals 1. Okay, so 1 is my predicate nominative. Which one? The one who counts the votes. So who counts the votes just is clarifying or describing the one, so it is an adjective clause. Number 2, Wayne knew that he was ready for the quiz. I hope you are ready for the quiz. That he was ready for the quiz is the clause. Now what's the verb? Knew. Who knew? Wayne knew. Wayne knew what? Wayne knew that he was ready for the quiz. So that he was ready for the quiz is the direct object. Since it's a direct object, it is a noun clause because it's doing one of the jobs of a noun. Okay, number 3, Tabitha, whose mother was a dentist, also wants to go into dentistry. Okay, whose mother was a dentist is my clause. What does that tell me? It tells me which Tabitha. The Tabitha whose mother was a dentist. Okay, so it's an adjective clause. Number 4, if you will live above reproach, you will sleep well at night. That is a very true statement. If you are living above the way of people being able to accuse you of doing wrong, then you don't have anything to worry about, okay? If you will live above reproach, you will sleep well at night, okay? If you will live above reproach tells us when you will sleep well, okay? So it is an adverb clause. If he decides to go to camp, remains to be seen. I hope that's not going to be said about you this summer. I hope you plan on going to camp. I hope you plan on doing everything your parents will let you do that's for the Lord. Okay? If he decides to go to camp is the subject of the sentence because remains is the verb. Who or what remains? It remains if he decides to go to camp. That's my subject, so that is a noun clause. Look at number 6. As long as he continues to blame others for his problems, he will struggle to act maturely. That's so true. I hope you're not blaming everybody else at your house for the problems because that's a lack of maturity. It means you're immature. Don't do that. As long as he continues to blame others for his problems. Okay, what does that tell us? That tells us why he's struggling or when he is struggling. So that is an adverb clause. Look at exercise M. Clauses and phrases. It says put parentheses around each prepositional phrase. Pretty easy, we do that all the time. Put brackets around each adjective or clause phrase. Adjective or adverb clause. Then above each clause or phrase, tell me, is that an adjective phrase or is that an adverb phrase? Or is that an adjective clause, an adverb clause, or a noun clause? Now notice I didn't say noun phrase. We're not gonna have a noun phrase. We're gonna adjective and adverbs if they're phrases, adjectives, adverbs, and nouns if they're clauses. Let's look at number 1. After the storm stops, we will continue the baseball game. Okay, what's the clause or the phrase? After the storm stops. You put parentheses around that because that is a phrase. What does it tell us? It tells us when we're going to continue. So if it's telling us when, it is an adverb. Because what are the adverb questions? Where, when, how often, to what extent, why, or under what condition. Number 2, I can swim farther than he can. What do you have? Than he can is a clause. By the way, it's an elliptical clause, meaning it doesn't have the whole thing written out, because it would say, then he can swim. But since our sentence is not going to be misunderstood, there's not going to be any confusion, we're allowed to leave it off. Then he can swim, or then he can, is a clause. And it does what? It's describing here, so it is an adverb. Good job. While Mike went to the store, I made steak and potatoes for dinner. Oh, I've not had lunch, so that sounds really good right now. All right? What are your prepositional phrases? To the store and for dinner. What does to the store tell us? It tells us where they went, right? So it is an adverb. To the store is an adverb phrase, okay? For dinner tells us what? Okay, it's an adverb telling us about what is made. Why did you make them? You made them for dinner. Now, there is a clause in this sentence. What's the clause? While Mike went to the store. If you are uncertain if it's a clause, what's your key there? It is a subject and a verb, but it doesn't have a complete thought. It's at the beginning of a sentence, and it's separated with a comma. That tells me that it's an adverb clause. Those things tell me automatically that's an adverb clause. Adverb clauses come at the beginning of a sentence. They're separated by a comma, and but they have to have a subject and a verb. Okay, number 4. Although Diego is the tallest on his team, he does not score the most points. Prepositional phrases. We have on his team. Put parentheses around that. That's a prepositional phrase. On his team tells us about what? That he is. Okay, that Diego is the tallest on the team. So it's an adverb. Although Diego is the tallest on his team, all of that together is an clause that comes at the beginning of a sentence. It is a clause because it's a subject and a verb. It's separated by a comma, so most often it's going to be a adverb clause, and it is an adverb clause, okay? On Saturday, Daniel wore his kilt and played the bagpipes at the Murphys' wedding, okay? Prepositional phrases. On Saturday and at the Murphys' wedding. On Saturday is an adjective or an adverb phrase. On Saturday tells us when, so it is an adverb phrase. And at the Murphys' wedding tells us where he played them, so it is an adverb phrase as well. Now, that is the end of this unit, except exercise N. Exercise N says diagram the sentences in exercise M. There's 5 sentences there. I want you to diagram those 5 sentences for homework tonight. Okay, do those 5 sentences. Your homework tonight, again, is for writing mastery, so you don't have a technical online homework assignment for English. It's just writing mastery. But I need this. I am going to collect it. I am going to grade these diagrams as a quiz grade, okay, to make sure that you're ready for your test, okay? So if you have any questions when you see this video, please text me, email me, call me, drop it in the comments, whatever, so that I can review it right before our English test. We will have an English test tomorrow, all right? Have a great day.